Before we start, I want to say that only 1% of you are subscribed. Please subscribe because when we reach 1,000 subscribers, I will post a special video for you. Tom was dragging his equipment across the sandy stretch of the beach near his home when a glint caught his eye. Normally, the sun would be setting around this hour, casting long shadows and shimmering reflections off the water, but this was different. It was too precise, too deliberate in its pulsing glow. Curious, he adjusted the straps of his gear and made his way toward it. As he approached, the object clarified into a more distinct shape, an oval craft, small and sleek, half buried in the sand. Tom dropped his gear with a thud and pulled out his phone, hesitating over whether to call someone. Before he could decide, a hiss of air broke the silence, and a segment of the craft slid open. From within, a figure emerged, stepping into the evening light with an uncertain grace. It was unmistakably not human. A woman, yes, but her skin shimmered with a luminescent quality no earth creature possessed. "Hello?" Tom ventured, his voice a mix of awe and caution. The figure turned towards him, her eyes wide and inquisitive. "I mean no harm," she replied, her words tinged with an accent he couldn't place. "I am Zara, from beyond your skies." Tom blinked, processing her words. "Beyond the skies? You mean from space?" "Yes. I am here to observe and learn. I hope my arrival has not alarmed you." Tom laughed, the sound more nervous than he intended. "Not alarmed, just surprised. I'm Tom, a marine biologist. What brings you to Earth, and to my beach of all places?" Zara stepped closer, her gaze scanning the horizon before settling back on him. "Your oceans. We detected signs of intelligent life. I am here to study your marine species to understand." Tom's mind raced with the implications. An alien, on his beach, wanting to study Earth? It was the discovery of a lifetime. "Well, Zara, you've come to the right place and, frankly, the right person. I can show you around, help with your studies." Zara's lips curved into a smile. "That would be most appreciated, Tom." He glanced back at his abandoned equipment, then at the craft. "First things first, we should probably get your ship hidden. We wouldn't want it drawing too much attention." "Agreed. I have the means to conceal it further." With a small device in her hand, she pointed it towards the craft, and slowly, the ship seemed to blend into the surroundings, becoming nearly invisible to the untrained eye. "Wow, that's handy," Tom said, impressed. "Now, let's grab my gear. I was just about to check on some local marine life before I found you." Together, they retrieved his equipment, Zara asking questions about each item. Tom explained the purpose of his tools, the water quality tester, the plankton net, and his camera for documenting wildlife. As they walked along the beach, the sky painted in strokes of orange and pink, Tom felt a surge of excitement. This was his element, the ocean and its mysteries, and now he had the chance to share it with someone from another world. Zara listened intently, her fascination apparent. "I've never seen water this vast," she remarked, gazing out at the ocean. "On my planet, bodies of water are scarce and highly treasured." "That sounds tough. Water is essential for life here too, but we're lucky to have plenty of it," Tom replied, leading her down towards a rocky outcrop. "Let's get some samples, and I can show you some of the marine life up close." As they set up his equipment under the last light of the day, Tom couldn't help but think how strange and wonderful the universe was. Here he was, teaching an alien about Earth's oceans and, in turn, learning about the cosmos. It was an exchange he never could have anticipated, yet it felt like the most natural thing in the world. Tom's beach house was modest, a two-story structure with a wide porch facing the sea. As they approached, he noticed Zara's eyes lingering on the building with an apparent curiosity. "This is where I live and work," Tom explained as he unlocked the front door. "It's not a space station, but it's home." Zara stepped inside, her gaze sweeping across the room filled with marine artifacts, books, and a large map of the local coastline pinned to the wall. "You surround yourself with knowledge of your world. It's quite enlightening." Tom chuckled, setting his gear down. "I guess you could say that. Make yourself comfortable. Would you like something to drink? Water, maybe?" "Yes, water would be fine. Thank you," Zara replied, taking a seat at the kitchen table. Tom poured 2 glasses of water, setting one in front of her before sitting opposite. So, Zara, you mentioned you're here to learn about our marine life. Any particular species you're interested in? Tom asked, eager to dive into more detailed discussions. We are particularly interested in your cetaceans, dolphins and whales, Zara said, her voice filled with enthusiasm. Their communication methods seem highly developed, almost reminiscent of sentient languages back home. That's one of my favorite topics, Tom admitted, his face lighting up. Dolphins are incredibly intelligent. I've done some work on their social structures and communication patterns. I can arrange for us to go out on the boat tomorrow, get some first-hand observations. I would appreciate that greatly, Zara replied, sipping her water thoughtfully. It is important for me to gather as much empirical data as possible. Tom nodded, pulling out a laptop. Let me show you some of my research. He booted up the device and opened a folder labeled Cetacean Studies. Inside were numerous video and audio files documenting various dolphin interactions. As Tom played a video of a dolphin pod, Zara leaned in, observing intently. The synchronization in their movements, it's almost like a dance. Exactly, Tom agreed. They're not just moving together. They're communicating, bonding. There's a lot we still don't understand about what they're saying, but it's clear they have a complex language of their own. The evening progressed with them exchanging knowledge, Tom with his biological insights and Zara with her experiences and technological advances from her planet. It was a fruitful exchange, with Tom showing her various tools and methods he used in marine biology. Your methods of research are more hands-on than ours, Zara noted. We often use drones and remote sensing devices. Tom raised an eyebrow. Hands-on is often the best way to learn about the environment here. But I'm interested in hearing more about your technology, especially anything that might help with our research. Zara explained some of her planet's technologies, describing devices that could analyze chemical compositions of water bodies from a distance and others that could track animal movements through biosignature recognition. Some of these could revolutionize our work here, Tom mused, especially in more remote or deep water locations. As the night drew on, they made plans for the following days, intending to combine their expertise for mutual benefit. Tom felt a surge of anticipation for the collaboration, recognizing the potential impact of their combined efforts. I think we're going to learn a lot from each other, Zara, Tom said as they wrapped up their discussion for the night. I share your sentiment, Tom, Zara replied, her eyes reflecting a sincere gratitude. This partnership, though unexpected, may yield results beneficial beyond our initial expectations. Tom nodded in agreement, feeling a rare kind of excitement bubbling within him. Working side by side with an alien to uncover new truths about the world felt like the beginning of a new chapter in his life. As he showed Zara to her room, he knew that the coming days would be unlike any other. The morning sun streamed through the windows of Tom's beach house as he and Zara prepared for the day. They loaded the boat with various equipment, including underwater cameras, hydrophones, and data collection devices. Today, they were heading out to observe the local dolphin pods. Beautiful day for the sea, isn't it? Tom remarked as he handed Zara a life jacket. It's quite perfect, Zara responded, securing the life jacket around her. On my planet, our water bodies are much calmer, almost stagnant. This vast movement is fascinating. As they set out from the shore, Tom explained the plan. We'll head to the dolphin routes I've mapped over the years. This time of year, they're usually quite active. Zara, intrigued by the navigation system, asked, how do you predict their movements? It's a combination of past observations and tracking environmental factors like water temperature and fish populations, Tom explained. Dolphins follow their food, and their food follows the ideal conditions. Zara nodded thoughtfully. It's similar to how we track migratory patterns on my planet, though our subjects are avian, not aquatic. The boat ride to the dolphin area was filled with more exchanges of information. Zara was particularly interested in the hydrophone setup. We use similar technology for planetary exploration. It's designed to capture seismic activities and atmospheric noises. That's fascinating, Tom said as he set up the equipment. Here, we're listening for dolphin clicks, whistles, and songs. Each sound is a piece of their communication puzzle. As they reached the designated area, Tom cut the engine and they drifted. He handed Zara a pair of binoculars. Keep your eyes peeled. They can appear out of nowhere. It didn't take long before a group of dolphins surfaced nearby, their sleek bodies cutting through the waves. Zara watched in awe, her eyes tracking every movement. They're incredible, she whispered, her voice filled with wonder. Watch this, Tom said, dropping a hydrophone into the water. They put on headphones to listen. The sounds of the ocean filled their ears, punctuated by the distinct clicks and whistles of the dolphins. Each of those sounds is a potential communication. We think they discuss everything from simple greetings to more complex information like locations of food or possible dangers, Tom explained. Zara's face lit up with curiosity. This is similar to our research methods for studying atmospheric anomalies. The principle of using sound to understand an environment. It's universal. They spent several hours on the water, observing and recording. Tom showed Zara how to handle the camera equipment, and she quickly adapted, capturing footage with a skilled eye. This collaboration, Zara said as they started heading back, it's more than just sharing tools and methods. It's about seeing the world through each other's perspectives. Absolutely, Tom agreed. You bring a new way of seeing things that's invaluable. Back at the beach house, they reviewed the footage and data they had collected. Zara was quick to point out patterns Tom hadn't noticed before, and her insights from a different scientific background provided fresh interpretations. I think we've made some significant observations today, Tom noted, grateful for the new angles Zara provided. Your perspective is really opening up new avenues in my research, Zara smiled. And your guidance has been crucial. I've learned more about Earth's marine life today than I had hoped. As the day turned into evening, their conversation shifted from professional to personal. They shared stories about their lives, Tom's years growing up by the sea, and Zara's life in a world so different yet bound by similar scientific curiosities. It's been a remarkable day, Tom, Zara concluded, a thoughtful look in her eyes. I'm eager to see what else we will discover together. Me too, Zara. Me too, Tom said, feeling a profound connection not just to his work, but to his unexpected guest from the stars. The evening was settling in with a gentle breeze as Tom and Zara returned to the beach house, both invigorated by their productive day at sea. They decided to wind down with a casual dinner, something Tom insisted on preparing to share a bit of local flavor with Zara. As Tom busied himself in the kitchen, Zara wandered around the living room, examining the various marine relics and photos that decorated the space. You've lived a life surrounded by the ocean, haven't you? She asked, picking up a framed photo of a younger Tom on a boat. Ever since I can remember, Tom replied from the kitchen, where he was chopping vegetables. My father was a fisherman, and my mother was a marine biologist, too. The ocean is in my blood. That's a beautiful heritage, Zara said, setting the photo back down. She joined him in the kitchen, watching his hands skillfully prepare the meal. What are you making? It's a local dish, seafood paella. It's hearty and full of flavors from the sea. I hope you'll like it, Tom explained, adding spices to the pan that started to sizzle and release aromatic scents. I'm sure I will, Zara responded, her eyes following each of his movements. Can I help with anything? Actually, yes. Could you stir this while I grab the seafood from the fridge? Tom asked, handing her the wooden spoon. As Zara took over stirring, a comfortable silence fell over the kitchen, broken only by the crackling sounds from the stove. Tom returned and added the seafood, explaining each type as he placed it into the pan. We've got shrimp, clams, and mussels, all local. Seafood doesn't get fresher than this. Zara smiled, enjoying the lesson. On my planet, we have similar creatures, but they're used more for their bioluminescent properties than for eating. Bioluminescent? Huh? That must be a sight to see, Tom mused, imagining the glow-in-the-dark seafood of Zara's world. It's quite magical, Zara agreed, her voice tinged with nostalgia. But right now, she gestured at the paella, this is magical to me. Dinner was served on the porch, overlooking the ocean. The sky had turned a deep shade of twilight, and the only light came from the small table lamp and the stars beginning to pepper the darkening sky. They ate mostly in silence, the delicious food and the serene environment more than enough to occupy their senses. After dinner, Tom poured them each a glass of wine and raised his in a toast. To new friends and new discoveries, he said, smiling warmly. To new friends and new discoveries, Zara repeated, clinking her glass against his. They settled into a comfortable conversation about Earth's oceans compared to the aquatic environments of Zara's world. She described vast, shallow seas that covered entire continents, sparkling with natural luminescence, and Tom listened intently, fascinated by her descriptions. Sounds like a planet out of a dream, Tom remarked. It's amazing how different, yet similar, our worlds are. It is, Zara agreed. I've learned so much already, not just about your marine life but about human culture and kindness. Tom smiled, touched by her words. And I've learned that the universe is even more incredible than I ever imagined. As the night deepened, their discussion turned to the stars. Tom pointed out constellations, and Zara shared stories of the celestial navigation techniques used by her people. Seeing the stars from Earth with an Earthling, it's a unique experience, Zara said, her gaze lingering on the sky. It's an experience I'm glad to share with you, Tom replied, his voice soft in the night air. As they stood up to clear the dishes, their hands brushed lightly, and they paused, sharing a look that hinted at deeper feelings stirring beneath their newfound friendship. Something unspoken was weaving itself between them, a connection that was as mysterious and vast as the ocean that lay whispering beside them. After cleaning up from their dinner, Tom and Zara moved back inside, drawn by the chill of the late evening air. The warmth of the beach house felt comforting as they settled into the living room with mugs of hot cocoa Tom had prepared. You know, I've never had anything quite like hot cocoa before, Zara mentioned, holding the mug close, letting the steam warm her face. Tom chuckled softly. It's a staple here during the colder months. I thought you might like it. It's delicious, Zara affirmed, taking another sip, and warming. It's nice to experience such simple human comforts. The soft glow of the fireplace cast playful shadows across the room, and the sound of logs crackling added a cozy, intimate ambience. They sat on the couch, their shoulders brushing occasionally, creating a gentle spark of connection each time. Zara, can I ask you something? Tom began, setting his mug down. What's it like, being so far from your home, your world? Zara paused, considering his question. It's both exhilarating and daunting. I am here to learn and explore, which is thrilling. But sometimes it feels like I am adrift, far from any familiar anchor. I can only imagine, Tom empathized. But I hope while you're here, you feel a bit less adrift. She smiled warmly at him. I do, thanks to you. You've made Earth feel more like a home than a mission. Their eyes met, and something unspoken passed between them, a mutual recognition of the growing bond they shared. Tom reached out, hesitantly taking her hand. Zara responded by intertwining her fingers with his, a gesture of trust and connection. Tom, she began, her voice soft, back on my planet, relationships, especially those involving feelings, are complicated. We don't usually form connections outside of designated partnerships. That sounds difficult, Tom replied, his thumb gently caressing her hand. Here, it's often just as complicated, but perhaps for different reasons. We're encouraged to follow our feelings, even when they lead us into unexpected places. Like this? Zara asked, a hint of curiosity and wonder in her voice. Exactly like this, Tom confirmed, his heart beating faster. He leaned closer, pausing to gauge her reaction. Zara met his advance, closing the distance between them. Their first kiss was tentative, a soft exploration that spoke of new beginnings and mutual curiosity. As they parted slightly, Tom whispered, "Is this okay?" "Yes," Zara whispered back, her breath mingling with his. "More than okay." They kissed again, this time with a growing confidence. Zara was inexperienced with human customs but eager to learn, and Tom was a patient and gentle teacher. Their kisses deepened, driven by a blend of emotion and discovery, each one a new chapter in their unfolding story. Eventually, they pulled back, breathless and smiling shyly at each other. "I've read about human intimacy," Zara said, her cheeks flushed with a slight pink hue, "but the experience is more profound than I expected. It's one of those things that's hard to understand fully until you experience it, Tom agreed, feeling his heart swell with affection for her. And every experience is unique, shaped by the feelings and the connection between the people involved. They spent the rest of the evening talking softly, sharing stories of their lives, their aspirations, and the mysteries of their very different worlds. Every so often, they would pause to share another kiss, each one affirming their growing feelings. As the night drew to a close, Tom showed Zara to her room, their hands still linked. At her door, they shared one final kiss goodnight, a promise of more to explore and discover together. "Good night, Zara," Tom said, his voice low and full of warmth. "Good night, Tom," she replied, her eyes glowing with happiness. As she closed the door, Tom walked to his room, feeling lighter than he had in years. Something special was happening, something wonderful and utterly unexpected. The morning light filtered through the curtains, illuminating Tom's face as he lay in bed, replaying the events of the previous night in his mind. A soft smile touched his lips, but it faded as he heard voices downstairs, one unmistakably his mother's. Tom hurriedly dressed and descended the stairs, finding his mother in the kitchen, a perplexed expression on her face as she spoke with Zara, who looked equally uneasy. "Mom, what are you doing here so early?" Tom asked, trying to keep his tone light. "I was worried, Tommy. You hadn't answered your phone, and I wanted to make sure everything was okay," his mother explained, her eyes darting between him and Zara. "I'm fine, Mom. This is Zara. She's visiting from—" Tom paused, realizing the complexity of explaining Zara's true origin. "She's here on a research exchange." Zara extended her hand, which Tom's mother took hesitantly. "It's a pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Harrison." "Likewise, dear," but Tom's mother's voice trailed off as she surveyed Zara's unusual attire, a shimmering fabric unlike anything typically seen in their coastal town. "Mom, why don't we sit down? I'll make some coffee, and we can talk," Tom suggested, hoping to ease the palpable tension. Once seated with coffee in hand, Tom's mother's curiosity overcame her initial shock. "So, tell me about this research exchange. It sounds quite exciting." Zara, sensing Tom's discomfort, took the lead. "I'm studying marine biology, focusing on communication patterns of cetaceans." Tom has been kind enough to share his expertise and local insights. "That's wonderful, but how did you two meet?" his mother asked, her eyes narrowing slightly. "We met on the beach. Zara had some equipment issues, and I helped her out." "It was purely coincidental," Tom answered quickly. His mother nodded, still processing. "I see. And how long will you be staying with us, Zara?" "Just a few weeks," Zara replied. "I have much to learn, and then I must return to my work." Tom watched his mother, trying to gauge her reaction. "Mom, I know this is unexpected, but Zara's work is groundbreaking, and collaborating with her is a huge opportunity for my own research." His mother sipped her coffee, her gaze softening. "I trust your judgment, Tommy. Just caught me a bit off guard is all." As the morning wore on, Tom's mother's attitude shifted from wary to intrigued, especially as Zara spoke more about her studies and her unique perspective on marine biology. However, when Tom's mother excused herself to use the restroom, she whispered to Tom, "Stupid alien girl wants to breed with me." Mom is shocked, mimicking what she might say to friends for a laugh without realizing the implications of her words. Tom winced, not sure how to explain that Zara wasn't just an ordinary visitor. He decided it was best to let the comment pass unnoticed for the time being. When his mother returned, she was all smiles. "Well, I should let you both get on with your day. Zara, it was a pleasure to meet you. You must tell me more about your work next time." "Of course, Mrs. Harrison. Thank you for your warmth and hospitality," Zara replied, gracious despite the earlier awkwardness. After Tom's mother left, Tom turned to Zara, apologetic. "I'm sorry about the confusion and about that joke." Zara shook her head, smiling. "It's quite all right, Tom. It's clear she loves you very much, and her protective instincts are strong. It's actually quite endearing." Tom let out a relieved laugh. "Well, I'm glad you think so. She's a force of nature." They spent the rest of the day diving back into their research, but the morning's events lingered in Tom's mind. He knew that balancing his personal life with his professional ambitions, especially now with Zara in it, was going to be more challenging than he thought. Yet, he couldn't help feeling that every moment with Zara was worth any complication. The following week, Tom decided it was important for Zara to engage more broadly with the local community. He believed that understanding human social dynamics firsthand would enhance her research and possibly provide new insights into human-alien interactions. Tom planned a small gathering at the community center, inviting a few colleagues and friends interested in marine biology and environmental sciences. As they prepared for the event, Zara appeared both excited and nervous. "What should I expect at this gathering?" she asked Tom while they arranged chairs in the small, brightly lit hall. "People will be curious about you, of course," Tom explained, placing informational pamphlets on a table. "They know you're a researcher from abroad, but I haven't gone into details about how far abroad really is." Zara nodded, absorbing his words. "And how should I interact? I do not wish to create any misunderstandings. Just be yourself. Share your knowledge and be open to their questions. Everyone's here to learn, after all," Tom reassured her, offering a supportive smile. As the guests began to arrive, Tom introduced Zara as a visiting scientist with a unique perspective on marine communication. The initial interactions were filled with polite curiosity, and Zara responded with grace and enthusiasm, discussing her studies without revealing her extraterrestrial origin. However, as the evening progressed, some cultural differences began to surface. During a discussion about conservation strategies, Zara mentioned how resources were allocated on her planet through a global consensus model, something vastly different from Earth's various national and corporate agendas. "That sounds incredibly efficient," remarked Dr. Linda Chun, a marine biologist. "Imagine what we could accomplish if we all worked together globally like that." "It's not without its challenges," Zara replied, "but it does foster a sense of shared responsibility." Tom watched as the group digested this information, noticing mixed reactions among the crowd. Some were intrigued, while others seemed skeptical of such a unified approach. Later, a local fisherman asked a question about sustainable fishing practices, which led to a slight faux pas from Zara. "On my planet, we've almost completely eliminated the need for what you call fishing. Instead, we cultivate what we need in controlled environments." "Aquaculture on steroids, huh?" The fisherman chuckled, though his tone hinted at discomfort with the concept. "Yes, something like that," Zara responded, picking up on the subtle cues of tension. "What challenges do you face here with sustainability?" The conversation shifted towards more practical, Earth-based issues, and Tom steered the discussion to allow for a balanced exchange of ideas. He was proud of how well Zara was handling the complex social nuances, even when her comments stirred a bit of debate. As the evening wound down, Tom and Zara thanked their guests for their participation and insights. Most expressed gratitude for the enlightening discussions, and a few lingered to ask Zara more about her work. "Did I speak out of turn?" Zara asked Tom once the last guest had left. "I sensed some resistance to the ideas I presented." "You did fine," Tom assured her. "It's natural for people to be a bit defensive about their way of life, especially when confronted with radically different approaches. But it's good for them to hear about alternatives. It broadens perspectives." Zara considered his words carefully. "It's similar on my planet. We often debate new ideas vigorously before accepting them." Tom put away the last of the chairs, feeling content with the evening's outcome. "It's part of growth, Zara. Conflict isn't always negative. It can lead to better solutions." "Indeed, Tom," Zara replied, helping him to switch off the lights. "Thank you for guiding me through this." As they left the community center, Tom felt a renewed sense of partnership with Zara. Despite the challenges, he was confident that this cultural exchange was just another step in their joint journey of discovery, adding depth and richness to their collaboration. The days following the community event passed quickly, with Tom and Zara spending long hours on the water, continuing their research on dolphin communication and the complexities of marine ecosystems. Each day felt fuller than the last, their work flowing seamlessly as they shared ideas, exchanged knowledge, and deepened their connection. But there was an undercurrent of something unsaid. Tom noticed it in Zara's quiet moments, the way she would stare out at the ocean as if seeing something beyond it, something he couldn't quite grasp. One evening, after another long day on the boat, they sat on the porch of Tom's beach house, watching the sun dip below the horizon. The sky was a mix of pinks and oranges, and the sound of the waves rolling and made everything feel serene. Tom had made them both tea, and they sat in companionable silence, the warmth of their mugs contrasting with the cooling air. "I've learned so much from you," Zara said finally, breaking the silence. Her voice was soft, thoughtful. Tom smiled, taking a sip of his tea. "The feeling's mutual, Zara. I don't think I'll ever look at the ocean the same way again after all that we've discovered together." She turned to him, her eyes holding something deeper than before. "There's something I need to tell you, Tom." He set his mug down, sensing the weight of her words. "What is it?" Zara hesitated, then spoke, her voice calm but tinged with sadness. "My time here is coming to an end. I've completed the research I was sent for, and soon I'll have to return to my world." The words hung in the air between them, heavy and final. Tom had known, on some level, that this day would come. Zara was not of his world, and their time together had always been temporary. But hearing it now, spoken out loud, it felt like a punch to the gut. "When?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "Tomorrow," Zara said softly, her gaze dropping to her hands. "The ship will return for me at dawn." Tom's heart sank. Tomorrow. So soon. He had thought they had more time. But of course, nothing could be more fleeting than a relationship with someone from another planet. He swallowed hard, trying to find the right words, but they felt stuck in his throat. "I don't want you to go," Tom admitted, the rawness of the truth catching him off guard. "We've only just begun." Zara looked at him, her eyes shimmering in the dim light. "I don't want to leave either, Tom. But my duty is to my people, to the mission I was sent here for. It's the way of my world." Tom stood up and began pacing the porch, running his hands through his hair. "There's got to be a way. Can't you stay? Or come back? I mean, we've made so many breakthroughs together. What about continuing our research?" Zara stood as well, her presence calm but filled with emotion. She reached out and touched his arm gently. "This wasn't just about research, Tom. Our connection. It goes beyond the work we've done. You know that." He stopped pacing, looking down at her. "Yeah, I do." For a moment, neither of them spoke, the sound of the waves filling the space where words couldn't reach. Finally, Zara stepped closer, her hand still resting on his arm. "I will always carry this time with me, Tom. You've shown me so much, not just about your world, but about what it means to truly connect with another being." Tom pulled her into an embrace, holding her tightly. "You've changed everything for me, Zara. I don't know how to let you go." She held him just as tightly, and for a long time, they stood there, wrapped in each other's arms, neither wanting to be the first to break the embrace. But finally, Zara pulled back. Her eyes filled with tears, she quickly blinked away. "We still have tonight," she whispered, her voice trembling just slightly. Tom nodded, his heart heavy but full of emotion. "Yeah, we do." They spent the rest of the evening together, sharing their last moments in quiet conversation, stolen kisses, and a deepening sense of intimacy that went beyond words. The night passed too quickly, and before Tom knew it, the sky was beginning to lighten, signaling the arrival of dawn. As they stood on the beach, waiting for Zara's ship to return, the silence between them was both comfortable and unbearable. Tom held Zara's hand, feeling the coolness of the early morning air, the warmth of her fingers intertwined with his. "When you look at the stars," Zara said softly, "know that I'm looking at them too." Tom nodded, his throat tight with emotion. "I will." In the distance, the sky shimmered as Zara's ship began to descend, its sleek form cutting through the morning light. It landed softly on the sand, and the door slid open, beckoning Zara inside. Zara turned to Tom one last time, her eyes filled with everything she couldn't say. "Goodbye, Tom." "Goodbye, Zara," Tom whispered, his voice breaking. She stepped toward the ship, but at the last moment, turned back and kissed him deeply, passionately, as if trying to pour all of their shared moments into one final gesture. When they finally pulled apart, neither said another word. Zara walked up the ramp, and the door closed behind her. Tom watched as the ship lifted off, rising into the sky, and within moments, it was gone. vanished into the endless blue above. He stood there on the beach, the sound of the waves crashing around him, the sky brightening with the coming day. His heart ached, but at the same time, he felt grateful for the time they had shared. It was brief, but it was real. As the sun broke the horizon, Tom knew he would never forget Zara. She had left a mark on his life that would never fade, and though their paths had now diverged, their connection would remain, like a soft ripple in the vast ocean of the universe.